And welcome to Louisville, Kentucky and this Sports Center special honoring Muhammad Ali. We will be with you live all day for the procession, the burial, and the memorial. As you can see, thousands of fans already lining the streets, chanting the name of Louisville's favorite son. Ali, born here in 1942, and the procession will travel by his childhood home you just saw there and end here at Cave Hill Cemetery for a traditional Muslim burial. And then later, the all-inclusiveness of the day comes to a head here at the KFC Yum Center. Some 10,000 tickets given out to the general public. Hannah Storm and Jeremy Schaap here with you all day long for a very special day, 10 years in the planning by the family. And at one point, Muhammad Ali said, well, maybe I'll have this at Yankee Stadium because that's the biggest venue I can think of that fits the most people. But that, of course, was just a blip all along. He wanted to come home to Louisville. His wife, Lonnie, is a native of Louisville, and that all comes to fruition today.
Yeah, I mean, Ali lived in Miami Beach. He lived in Phoenix. He lived in Michigan. He lived in Chicago during his banishment. But he would always come home to Louisville. His parents had a home here. His friends were here, people he had grown up with. And it's a complicated relationship. There were times, of course, when Louisville did not embrace Muhammad Ali, especially when he joined the Nation of Islam, when he changed his name first to Muhammad X, then Muhammad Ali, and even more so a few years later when he refused induction to armed services. And that resentment wasn't confined to the white community, but ultimately he was embraced as a favorite son of this city. And I think the fact that he is back here now to be laid to rest says a lot about that relationship.
Born here as Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. on January 17th, 1942. His childhood home has been restored. It was very important for the family to have this procession today, follow a route and follow places that were important in Muhammad Ali's life. And of course, the Muhammad Ali Center is here today carrying on his great work. So the procession begins at A.D. Porter and Sons Funeral Home. We go through downtown Louisville, pausing at the center, exiting near Beecher Playground, turning on to Muhammad Ali Boulevard over in the West End, and then we travel through the West End. That's the neighborhood where he grew up. We pass the home at 3302 Grand Avenue. Then we head back onto Broadway, a view from Broadway of actually Ali's old high school, Central High, and then the conclusion at Cave Hill Cemetery. This is one of the oldest cemeteries in Louisville where many local luminaries are buried, and that'll be a private ceremony in accordance with Muslim tradition. We have reporters for you all along the parade route. We have Coley Harvey this morning at A.D. Porter and Sons Funeral Home. Marty Smith joins us from the Muhammad Ali Center. You can see all of the remembrances there behind Marty. Michael Eaves is right at that 9th Street exit on the corner near Beecher Park and Muhammad Ali Boulevard, where you can see the crowds already beginning to gather, as they are behind Josina Anderson. She is at the boyhood home of Muhammad Ali. As we now begin this procession, again, that will take 18 miles, 16 limousines, one of them carrying the body of Muhammad Ali, again, which has been prepared according to Muslim tradition and eventually end up at its final resting place at Cave Hill Cemetery. 19 miles of very carefully planned route today through places that were important to Ali's life.
It's quite a moment here as everyone prepares for the procession to make its way by here.
Marty Smith, thank you. As we see the balloons released there as the procession travels down the banks of that aforementioned Ohio River, past the two-story museum that you can see there in the foreground, and the people there waiting. This center to preserve and share the legacy and the ideals of Muhammad Ali, promoting respect, hope, and understanding. And in the day since his death, we've seen so many memorials created outside that center, and Jeremy, even bees swarming across the street in a tree next to the mural of his quote, "Afloat like a butterfly, sting like a bee."
And there were butterflies released the other day as part of a children's tribute to Muhammad Ali at the Performing Arts Center. You know, I think as we continue to consider the life and the legacy of Muhammad Ali, we also have to put into perspective his place in the continuum of African-American sports heroes. Whether you start with Jack Johnson and Joe Louis and Jesse Owens, and now the procession is pausing at the Ali Center.
Again, this was part of the plan, the family, in order to respect and at the same time draw the eyes of the world collectively towards this living and breathing place, emblematic of all that Ali was, the Muhammad Ali Center. They are stopping. And they will continue on briefly, but again, a measure of respect to what we have been talking about, that this is a legacy that is very much alive and very, very relevant today.
You mentioned earlier, Hannah, that he was fearless. And I know that you don't mean that to be in the ring. When I saw Ali at the first time at lunch, he was vibrant and he talked, and he had this little thing he would do with his finger and stick it behind your ears, and he could make that little clicking noise that would kind of stun you. But even in later life, he was unafraid to be out there. He and Lonnie stayed out there.
We want to go back now to Marty Smith. Marty, what was that moment? What was that pause in the procession like?
It was extremely poignant. Everyone was completely focused on the car carrying Ali, and some reporters were out there documenting that. Some law enforcement officials on the lower level from me ran up to the barriers so that they could witness it. Everyone now is cheering as the motorcade makes its way off to 9th Street and Roy Wilkins Avenue. Everyone here is extremely jubilant at the wonderful man that we're celebrating today. The cars making their way by me now, those law enforcement watercraft speeding down the Ohio River to make their way further as well. Very rarely in this business anymore do we get chills. It's 90 degrees out here, and I have them all over my body.
I was at the inauguration of President Obama in 2008. When I stood on the National Mall and looked from the Capitol building back towards the Washington Monument, it felt like all of America was looking back at me. As I look down Muhammad Ali Boulevard right now, and both sides of the streets are lined, same thing with 9th Street, it feels as if all of Louisville is out to watch this moment today. They're here to say thank you and goodbye to their friend, to their neighbor, to their mentor, to their idol, to their icon, and it's just a feeling of celebration. Right now we can see several of the cars from Louisville Police Department make their way down 9th Street. Again, there will be a turn onto Muhammad Ali Boulevard, which starts heading west here in Louisville towards the west end section. About 3.5 miles from this intersection where we're standing, we will get to his home there at 3302 Grand Avenue. But everyone is getting in position. We see just hundreds and thousands of cameras and phones, people documenting this moment for themselves. We see international media, and now here comes the procession through the area.
Yeah, Hannah, guys, this is truly an incredible, incredible scene. You all have been seeing people riding bicycles, running, throwing flowers, blowing kisses onto the hearse, touching the hearse. This has been truly incredible. As I'm talking right now, I'm actually holding up a camera phone myself because I'm trying to record this myself. This is one of those moments where you look out and you see how much these people want to remember this moment. I'm looking up again at the clock tower here in Louisville, right outside of Cave Hill Cemetery here, and it reads 12:51 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as we see, the hearse of Muhammad Ali at this moment making the turn around the people. Cheers, so many cheers as it turns in.
Foley, thank you. Mervyn Ombudsman is back with us, and Jeremy Schaap. Mervyn, what are your thoughts as you watch this?
It's a replay of a very special day. One that sticks. I've never quite seen Louisville like this before. And that gives me hope.
Welcome to a BCS National Championship edition of the Palmer and Pollock Show. Davey Pollock, Jesse Palmer. We're about to get swarmed by a sea of purple and gold and crimson as the floodgates open here at Champion Square for Fan Jam. Davey, hours away from #1 LSU versus #2 Alabama.
Game of the century, too. We know the hate between these two teams, LSU, Alabama. We know what this means. It's going to be a great showdown. Nick Saban, Les Miles in the Superdome. By the way, Les Miles, or Nick Saban's coached here before. This is going to be excellent.
It's been 36 days since we knew we would get this rematch here in New Orleans. Davey and I are going to break this game down from every angle. We got some big timers joining us. Former LSU great Patrick Peterson will be on the set. We got former Alabama national championship quarterback Greg McElroy. #1 LSU, #2 Alabama for all the marbles.
Here we are, the tailgate. It's on, and we have another special guest joining us, a Heisman winner. Surrounded with good company. Troy Smith is here, Heisman winner. Come on.
Yes, sir.
How about it? Now, who you rooting for?
I think I'd be hung out to dry if I said anything other than what I'm supposed to say. I'm going with the Buckeyes.
And you like their chances? I mean, they went through a lot.
I love them. Adversity builds character. I think the only way that you figure out what type of team you have, what type of person you are, is to be put in adverse situations. We've had it all year, and we'll be coached.
You played in coached in so many national championship games. How nervous are you, or were you, just a couple of hours from game time?
I would have been real tight. Tight because it's such a big one. You know, I mean, how many people ever get there? You know what? All of a sudden you're there. Now, can you get that last ball game? So it is very tense. But right now that I'm not coaching, I ain't tense at all.
I mean, you got two coaches right now that have never coached in this game. At least by 99 and 2000, you've done it a few times.
Was there anything you did to relieve that tightness or that worry or frustration?
Yeah, I slept. They used to get on me. I'd go to sleep in the dressing room waiting for the kickoff.
I used to take naps. You have that time when all the kids are getting dressed?
Yeah.
I just go lay down and take a little
You already
nap.
had the hay in the barn.
That's exactly
Nothing
right.
else you could do.
And me worrying wasn't going to make us play any better.
I just thought the hay in the barn. Was there a favorite Bobby Bowden line that as a player you heard over and over again?
No, I mean, Coach always talked about, it was always about the fundamentals. So it was always about blocking and tackling, and low man wins. But what was awesome if you were in practice or in a game and you missed a go ball, he always come in and drew this stick figure diagram on the whiteboard about you got to put air on the football so the guy can run under and get it. And but Coach Bowden was great. I think a lot of people who've been around him realize the sense of humor that Coach Bowden has. He's hilarious, especially when he talks about his wife, brings up his wife.
Oh,
jokes.
is that right?
Easy now.
We're not going to go there.
Yeah.
Easy.
X's, O's, and stick figures?
Yeah.
X's, O's, and stick figures.
Yeah.
I love it because these folks behind us, when you walked onto this set, you just see the love that they have for you. Bobby Bowden. I mean, Bobby Bowden.
I think they're all cheering for you, too. Doesn't matter
Every one of them.
what color they're wearing.
That's exactly
now.
right. The chance of Bobby. You know how much love they have for you. What does it feel like? It's never died. The love has never died.
No, it doesn't. You know, I coached 34 years there, and they gets where that's all they know. You know, that's one reason I stayed away so Jimbo could
create
draw his own. Yeah, exactly.
What you wanna do, baby, what's it gonna be? We can get wild, we can live free. You can shake it for me, honey, like a tambourine. Slice of watermelon and you spit the seed. Sweat on your back, singing to the sea. We can sneak off and beat the heat. I'll be buzzing on you, honey, like a bumblebee. Yeah, the player's gonna play and the hater's gonna hate. And the regulator's born to regulate. When it hits the fan and it all goes down and the gloves come off, you're gonna find out just who we are. Do I talk the walk, got walk wide open rockin', that's how we roll. Back to the wall, a band of brothers together along the outsiders. We're the riders, we're the ones burning rubber up our tires. Yeah, we're the fighters, the all-nighters. The fire 'em up and get a little higher. The outsiders, the outsiders. That's who we
Eric Church with a terrific performance of Outsiders, his smash hit.
The ball dropped there to signal it was 2017. But this is college football's new year, National Signing Day, as they are watching us in Times Square. We've seen this before, a number one next to Alabama's name. Will the Tide hold on to that top spot? We're with them all day long. Meanwhile, the team that toppled them on the field, they have been going about their business all in at Clemson. And look at how nice and shiny that new thing is, the Dr. Pepper Championship Trophy. We have live reports with the champs. At Ohio State, potentially still a big prize waiting to be had. Can Urban land one more? All the top talent is already gathered there. Or will it be a rival stealing the spotlight? Michigan has built up today as another show-stopping performance. They've already scored well with Aubrey Solomon. We've already made some magic with live announcements. From 8 a.m. onward, the best is yet to come. The biggest recruit available is still on the board. It is National Signing Day.
National Signing Day is presented by Nissan.
It has already been an active day. Thrilled that you're with us. Joe Tessitore in the crowd here. 7 of our 11 live announcements have already been had.
without further ado, I would like to announce my commitment to the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA.
I'll take my talents to the LSU University.
The University of Miami.
Glad you're with us here as we continue on here on ESPN2 until 5 o'clock. We're going to have the announcement of the #1 best available player still out there.
So we just took our talents to ESPN2 is what you're saying?
You've been working since 8 o'clock this morning. David Pollack, Tom Luginbill, Coach Les Miles, and Coach Mack Brown with you here. We'll be here till 5 o'clock on ESPN2. Back over to ESPNU to wrap up the whole day from 5 to 7. And in the 4 o'clock hour, that's when we're going to find out the best available players' destination for college football. That is Marvin Wilson, the best defensive tackle in the country.
Here with Jerry Hamilton, who's a little bit less of a handful. We are updating the rankings here hourly, the top of every hour. Do you want to scroll down? Again, we rank 1 through 40 here. And when you scroll down, you see Mississippi State up a couple of spots. Again, trying to close in on a top 30 class. Pick up the ESPN 300 linebacker, Willie Gay from in-state. So that was a big pickup for them. You scroll back up. See UCLA up a couple of spots to 17. You see Miami with Jeff Thomas up a spot from 14 to 13. Auburn up a spot with the commitment, the signing of Markevius Bryant there as well. Let's go back up here into the top 10.
Alabama is ridiculously loaded, and so are we when it comes to
Look at all those 5 stars we got.
Reporters.
We made room.
16 reporters across the country for National Signing Day, including Laura Rutledge, who is down there in T-Town.
All right, Tua, why did you choose Alabama?
Boy, how closely father and son.
They look. How about the energy, too?
No doubt about it. All right, here's our top 5. Trey Smith is already on campus at Tennessee. We are going to visit with the #1 player in the class of 2007. You've heard all about Isaiah Wilson, the big boy from Brooklyn who's going to play for Georgia. Phillips signed up for UCLA. Dylan Moses, we talked about extensively, phenomenal athlete who's heading to Alabama. And then we wait. That question mark will be removed from Marvin Wilson's graphic there. That'll happen a little after 4 o'clock. We're hearing Florida State or LSU, Ohio State, Oklahoma in the mix, but it seems like a Florida State LSU conversation for Marvin Wilson, who says this is exactly what he wanted. Signing day.
Welcome to the Red Carpet Show at the Home Depot College Football Awards.
No sight quite like it. It's time to get fancy for football, folks, and this is the best place to do it. That, of course, would be Disney World. Our Grand Marshal there, none other than Mickey. Not sure why he left Minnie at home tonight, but we'll forgive him. And there, of course, is the UCF Marching Knights from the University of Central Florida, here to keep us entertained. And there are going to be some important drum rolls later in the night, I'm sure. And now a guy that anybody who knows anything about college football right now is quite familiar with. The one and only Marcus Mariota, of course, a Heisman finalist. But tonight, it's all about the Maxwell and Davey O'Brien Awards. We'll see in just an hour or so whether or not he wins at the competition from Mississippi State, Starkville's own Dak Prescott. An impressive year from Dak. In just an hour or so, we find out who wins these important awards.
As well as our Maxwell Award nominees.
Welcome to the College Football Awards Red Carpet Show. I'm Sam Ponder. A lot of fun for you tonight. We're here to celebrate all that's good about college football.
Marcus, a long way right now from home. I want to start with something people suggest, that when you have great success, it seems like it comes easy. I'm going to take you all the way back to high school. Let people know, how long did you have to wait to clearly win the starting job, even back in high school? What was that process like for you?
Yeah, I had to wait until my senior year to play. You know, it's tough, you know, sitting back, but, you know, the guy in front of me played well, and, you know, he did a good job leading the team, and I just had to wait my turn.
What did you learn most this season that you didn't know about yourself prior, Marcus?
That, you know, patience will take you a long way. Sometimes, you know, you got to deal with a little adversity, but if you're patient, things will work out.
With all the upheaval due to injury on the offensive line, how did that test your leadership in particular, Marcus? I know you're a leader by example, but maybe vocally as well as through action.
Oh, I mean, it wasn't just myself. I mean, there were so many other guys that really stepped up as vocal leaders, and, you know, we needed that. You know, there was a lot of change going on within the offense, and, you know, for our guys to kind of battle through that, you know, says a lot about our team.
A tremendous, tremendous season, and we'll be spending some time in New York as well. Thanks for this time right now, Marcus.
Thank you very much.
What's your name?
My name is Mike Bray. What's your name?
Paxton.
Paxton.
I'm VJ Beecham.
Okay, VJ. Is your coach nice or is he bossy?
He's nice. He's nice.
I'm guessing he's bossy a little, huh?
A little bit, yeah, you know.
Do you put your players in timeout?
Sometimes I do, when they don't play defense.
What's your favorite food?
Ooh, that's a good one. I like lasagna. You guys like lasagna?
My favorite food is pizza. You guys like pizza?
I love it.
Let's get one. Let's get out of here. Let's go get a pizza.
Yes.
Well, I mean, pepperoni?
Where is the pizza?
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, I love that pizza.